So today we're going to talk about the 4 types of borderline personality.
Disclaimer alert. Please pause the video and read the disclaimer.
So we've already discussed that borderline personality disorder doesn't look the same. That borderline personality disorder doesn't look the same in any 2 people. And we've already spoken about the 9 criteria of borderline personality disorder. And one of the things about borderline personality disorder is that it doesn't materialize or show itself the same in everybody. So there are 4 subgroups. There are 4 subgroups of borderline personality disorder, and today I'm just gonna briefly discuss them. And I actually decided to have a book about borderline personality disorder. I'm calling it the Little Book. So a small book that you can have with you and write notes and learn about. And I will be linking it soon. So please like, share, subscribe, and follow because it'll be out soon. So the first one is high functioning, also called discouraged borderline personality disorder. These people typically hold high position jobs. They are leaders, they are high functioning, they are work hard, and they can keep jobs for a long period of time. This type is also known as quiet borderline personality disorder because it has a mixture of avoidance and dependence on others. So these people tend to also be loyal and submissive, right? They find the world sometimes to be overwhelming, and they can't stand it on their own, so they depend heavily on other people for support, for guidance. They loyal, and they can take a lot of nonsense in a relationship. Those are the people who self-sacrifice. They'll be in a relationship and you beat them up, or let's say they're with a narcissist or a psychopath, or one of those unhealthy, angry people in the relationship. They'll take it just so that you don't leave them. And if you do leave them, let's say they lose it. They can't handle it. They cannot express anger because it's frowned upon for them if you angry. So they internalize it, because anger, as you know, I've spoken in one of my videos about anger and the importance of expressing it, but expressing in a healthy way, and letting the people in your life know that I'm angry right now. It's not, all emotions on this channel are good emotions. But we can turn them into bad emotions too, right? So these people, they internalize the uncomfortable, intense emotion that they feel. So when you break up with them, or when the world gets too much and they don't feel support, they will self-harm. They will also suffer from depression, and they will hide from the world, and they will feel hopeless. They will be down on themselves, and they speak a lot about dying. Maybe there's no point, or self-harm ideation. And it's dangerous also because they might think about self-harm and they're spiteful. I'll show you, right? So they'll think, oh, I want to harm myself. If you leave me, I'll harm myself. And then you say, I won't be manipulated. Then they'll say, I'll show you. And then maybe they might self-harm, but that self-harm might go too far, and that they end up mistakenly killing themselves, right? So I've had somebody close to me actually have this type of borderline personality disorder. very passive. You know, it's almost as if instead of expressing how they feel, they'd rather say, I'm fine, nothing is wrong with you, but with me, right? And then later on, you'll see some of these self-destructive behaviors. They're also very loyal and humble, but loyal to a fault as well. It's bizarre. It's a very difficult and sad, because when they have an honest person who says, come on, let's tell me how you feel, and they're like, I don't feel anything. Stop, I'm good, right? And then when they have a person who is not good for them, they become very vulnerable, because then that person just lays on them and keeps abusing them. So it's like they become sort of a whore, as I said before. It's like you are selling yourself, your needs and wants, so that you can have a connection with this person. And when you're given an opportunity to connect with somebody who's healthy, who says, let's talk, let's have a reciprocal relationship, you struggle to express yourself, because you think you're worthless, you're not valuable, right? The second type of borderline personality disorder is the impulsive, right? I think that is clear. So these people show a mixture of histrionic and antisocial behavior. I think the biggest thing to think about it is that these people, they tend to be hyperactive, they tend to be reactive, they don't think before they speak most of the time, so they often say things that are like, what? Hurtful, inconsiderate, and they struggle with self-reflection. They don't sit with themselves and reflect and think on how what they do and say can hurt them and other people. And remember, these people come from family. These type of reactive borderline personality disorder people typically comes from family that are very chaotic, full of drama, full of unpredictability, full of verbal, emotional abuse, manipulation. And so they don't themselves, they find it difficult to create and find stability, because they grew up in a home that doesn't have that, right? And they typically feel value or importance when they are praised, right? You're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're gorgeous, you're smart, right? They're superficial. And that's, again, when you hear this is where you can think, oh, people with borderline personality sometimes can be misdiagnosed with narcissism, because this is one of those traits of narcissistic disorder, right? That becomes superficial, right? They find value in superficial things. So they are superficial. They tend to be impulsive, aggressive, seductive, easily irritated, right? They're very irritable, easily distracted, and suicidal, because sometimes the superficial parts of them, because everything is so chaotic in them and around them, doesn't satisfy that holistic, peaceful inner peace. The third type of borderline personality disorder is petulant. So think about a petulant child. This is a mixture of, in my head, a child and an adult. This person typically is described as dramatic, impatient, negative, and stubborn. This person is often very jealous of other people, right? They want to be the center of attention. Actually, when they are not the center of attention, they freak out. They want to be the person who everybody's giving attention to. This person comes from a home where they didn't have their needs met, right? They were forgotten. So they become stubborn, jealous, a little bit erratic, and self-important. But when they don't get that self-important, or they are treated important, then they throw a tantrum. They think they are the most beautiful, the most gifted person, and they should be treated that way. And if they don't get that, then the whole world gets turned upside down. And this is their way now as an adult, that child still needing their need met, and that adult that says, I am strong and I'll provide for you. collide. So you can see a mixture of both jumbled together. Is the fourth type of borderline personality disorder is destructive BPD. Destructive, as you can hear, these are the people with high ACEs. They are the people who do dangerous things. They cheat. They have unprotected sex. They prone to addictions of sexual, alcoholic, drugs. They self-harm a lot. So they take that anger and they turn it inward. They become moody. They become sort of like self-sacrificial lamb, right? They give of themselves so that other people can live, or so that other people can have a thing up, right? It's like as long as the needs of other people are met, their needs don't matter. And they also tend to be very suicidal because they're very depressed. Everything is turned inward. It's like they were treated as if they don't matter, and now they're treating themselves as if they don't matter. It's almost as if, think about that child in ambivalence attachment style who thought, oh, well, mom hit me. She came home angry and she hit me, and now it seems like she feels better, or she yelled and she scared me, but now she feels better. So it's like, okay, I make other people feel better, but then I tend to self-harm as well. So they harm themselves, which then is very dangerous, right? Because again, a lot of people who are struggling, they would try to self-harm themselves to try and relieve themselves. So they would get involved in extremely dangerous sports, which might and can often lead to them actually being harmed for sure or dying. So I just want to say that borderline personality disorder is a very complicated mental health disorder, much like many of the personality disorders. And there is recovery, but it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a minimum of a year to 2 years. Some people say 3 years, that's when they see proper change or good enough change. But this is rigorous therapy, like once a week with a therapist and once a week in a group setting. So you just rigorous learning and putting yourself in and rewiring your brain and retraining yourself. But people with borderline personality have grown and changed and have healthy, functional, fulfilling lifestyle. But you have to put in the effort. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.